biology can do things that no other human technology can do. I got excited in academia looking at microbiology, what you can do with microbes to really kind of biomanufacture products. I got in touch with Sean Simpson, the founder of LanzaTech. Several years later now, I'm sitting here with a jacket that's been made through those microbes, eating pollution.
Welcome to Talk Bio to Me, the show where we sit down with the people building the future of biology. I'm your host, Flo Lumsden, founder of Chorus Studios, a podcast production company where we transform complex technologies and breakthrough ideas into human stories that educate, entertain, and inspire. This year, we headed to SynBio Beta, the world's largest conference for synthetic biology. This mini-pod features some of the most fascinating founders.
We make spores that actually eat the insects.
Scientists.
We have carbon-fixing microbes that can essentially eat emissions.
Researchers.
This is going to make DNA into a programmable material that we can use to turn biology into infrastructure.
Investors.
Because it's garbage in, garbage out on AI. And Mother Nature still works in mysterious ways, right?
And AI innovators.
I'm increasingly excited about AI actually making an impact in the lab.
Shaping the future of biotech. From breakthrough therapies to AI that's beginning to design biology, I discovered one of the most exciting technological revolutions of our time. Okay, talk bio to me. Welcome to Talk Bio to Me, Michael. I'm Flo, I'm your host, and I'm interviewing really cool folks here at SynBio Beta, getting to know what they're working on and who they are and what's exciting going on in their world. So could you give us like a brief introduction to yourself?
Great. Yeah, pleasure to be here. So my name's Michael Köpke. I'm the Chief Innovation Officer at LanzaTech. Been with the company since 2009. At LNZA, we're developing technology and commercializing technology to turn waste streams, waste gases into useful products. We do that using biology. You have carbon-fixing microbes that can essentially eat emissions and turn into useful products like ethanol, which can be used as fuel, but can also be converted in materials. And also can be used for a variety of other chemicals.
That's so cool. And isn't your jacket one of those output products?
That's right. So I think this jacket started its life as emissions from a steel plant. So we captured that gas, fed it to our process. So which is like a traditional fermentation process, but instead of yeast that eats sugars, we have specialized proprietary microbes that eat those gases and then convert that into building blocks for those materials.
Wow.
Yeah, or it can also be turned into, for example, into sustainable aviation fuels.
Wow. Yeah, this is some good bio talk. To me, it just sounds like magic. But we'll go back a little bit. How did you first get into this work or this problem that you're solving?
Right. So I was always interested in biology and what nature can do. I think if you look in nature, there's no such things as waste. For example, a cherry tree that produces blossoms and then the fruit for us humans or birds or other animals. If those blossoms fall to the ground, they're not wasted as they're nourishing other ecosystems and then the tree itself. That's what fascinated me, biology, and that biology can do things that no other human technology can do.
Right.
And then I got excited in academia looking at microbiology, what you can do with microbes to really kind of biomanufacture products. At that point in academia, it was using sugars. But I think first examples where you can modify microbes to make other products and really make things we use in our kind of daily lives.
Cool.
But back at that point in academia, I was then, I think, looking at how could you improve that? Can you use kind of waste gases, CO2, for example, to make those things? There was microbes described that can do that. Those microbes were very obscure. They were not very well described. There were not genetic tools or genetic blueprints available. So at that point, I was then kind of investigating that. And for the first time, I could show that those microbes actually genetically tractable. I could modify them to make other products. Very small volumes at that point, really proof of concept, but I
Right.
think it showed what's possible. And then
Cool.
after that, I got in touch with Sean Simpson, the founder of LNZA, and kind of he showed a vision to how we can scale and translate such technology.
Yeah.
Because, that company was just starting in a
Right.
similar line, I think, trying to commercialize a similar process. And yeah, that really got me excited. And
So cool.
so now, several years later, now I'm sitting here with jacket that's been made through those microbes eating pollution.
Eating pollution, the microbes created a product. So, because I was trying to figure out, because I know CO2 can be different forms. It can be gas. It can be, maybe it can be liquid. I don't know. But
Yeah, it can be solved in bicarbonate in a liquid, but usually it's a gas, and that's kind of the challenge. One of the challenges with our process, we need to get those gases into liquid to make them available for the microbes. Some of these gases that we also use, like carbon monoxide, hydrogen, are also kind of flammable, explosive. And so I think there's a lot of things you need to consider and control.
yeah.
And then, as I said, I think the microbes, for example, there weren't any established tools like with E. coli or yeast, but that was an opportunity for us that we could develop that. And as a kind of small startup at that stage, just really kind of get this process established, and really with a focused effort could then commercialize this process.
It's pretty amazing you've been able to commercialize it.
Yeah, today I think we're operating in commercial plants in 500,000 liter plus bioreactors, where we sparge the gases through. The microbes eat those gases and then produce the products.
Is this mostly in Europe, or is it?
We have plants globally. I think we have one plant in Europe. We have plants in India and China. Here in the US, we have in Georgia a plant that's looking at converting fermentation outputs to sustainable aviation fuels.
Cool.
I think today we have 6 commercial plants. So they produce about 300,000 tons of products that go to various applications, from fuels to materials. But also at the same time, we can capture 500,000 tons of CO2.
So
that we can
technically,
really
this is a
make an
carbon
impact.
capture technology that also turns it into usable products.
Right. So typically in a steel plant, emissions are going into the atmosphere. I think in some cases it's been used to make some electricity, but of course I think electricity you can also make from renewable sources. You don't need to waste precious carbon for that. So we can capture that carbon and give it a second life, produce something like this jacket, and then at the end of the life we can close that circle. One technology we're also working now and partnering up is municipal solid waste or plastic waste. They can gasify it, turn it into syngas, which again is a mixture of CO2 and hydrogen, which can then feed back into our process. So we can close that loop and enable a circular
cradle
economy.
to cradle is what they call it, instead of cradle to grave.
Right.
Very cool. Well, this has been amazing, Michael. It's like really useful, and it's been so cool to hear about it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
No pleasure.
Thank you. All right. That's good.
Perfect.
Yeah. Don't forget to subscribe or follow Talk Bio to Me on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, YouTube today for episodes dropping very soon.